Good afternoon. This is Isaac Borocz again at St. Matthew's Church in Bowie, Maryland, and today is Monday, the 19th of October, 2020. As often happens, the calendar of saints in the Roman Catholic Church today gives a cluster of important people across the centuries. On the 17th, that is to say Saturday, we remembered Saint Ignatius of Antioch, who died around the year 140. He is famous for his desire to be a martyr and for his 7 letters which he wrote to various churches on his way from Antioch to Rome, where he would be thrown to the lions. According to legend, he was a disciple of St. John the Evangelist and Apostle. Yesterday, the 18th, we remembered St. Luke the Evangelist, who is mentioned several times in the scriptures in Colossians, for example, as well as in the Acts of the Apostles. Luke is the probable author of the Gospel of Luke and the Acts of the Apostles. According to legend, he was an artist, and according to St. Paul's letter to the Colossians, he was a physician. So he is remembered as the patron saint of artists and physicians, also bachelors for some reason, surgeons and students, and perhaps because of the connection to physicians, he's also the patron saint of butchers. And today, the 19th, we remember the man after whom I take my name, Isaac Borocz. Isaac Borocz was a Jesuit. He was born in Orléans, France in 1607 and was killed at Auxerre-Nanon, which is now Auriesville in New York, in 1646. He joined the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, in Rouen in 1624, and he left for France 2 years later as a missionary to the Hurons and the Mohawks. He was the first European to see Lake Superior. He was the first European to give a name to Lake George. He was the first Roman Catholic priest in New York State, and indeed in what would become New York City. In 1642, he was captured and enslaved by the Iroquois Indians. He escaped 14 months later or so with help from a Dutch Reformed pastor and went to Rensselaerswyck, modern-day Rensselaer, and was smuggled back to France via New Amsterdam. In 1646, he returned to France to negotiate peace between various Indian tribes and the French. He was murdered by Mohawks on the 18th of October, 1646. He was accused of being a witch and spreading disease amongst the people. For a bit of connection to music, Jean-Tite is often considered the father of the French organ school. He was born in 1562 or 63 in Saint-Omer, which was then part of the lowlands. He died in Rouen in 1633. He was responsible for the remodeling of the organ in the cathedral at Rouen, which was for many years considered the best instruments in all of France. He was organist at Rouen from 1585, so from about age 21, until he retired in 1623. He continued to serve as a consultant for organ builders. He published 2 collections of compositions, one of hymns and the second of versets for the Magnificat. They are the oldest French organ music ever printed. His style is more Renaissance than Baroque, focusing on vocal counterpoint. This is music that Isaac Borocz probably would have heard during his time in Rouen. It was used in the cathedral and perhaps in other large churches. I'd like to play for you the first and the last versets from the 4th tone setting of the Magnificat. The text for these 2 verses are, "My soul glorifies the Lord," and "Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit." Both movements are in 2 sections, and I think you will enjoy hearing them. I wish you a very pleasant evening.